I stole this recipe from Chef John over at Food Wishes. And it's an absolutely delightful way to use up that leftover puff pastry that's lurking in the back of your freezer. Now in this case, I used up the leftover the last time, so I had to buy a new box of it. After this, I will have the leftover. Now the first thing you do is you lay it out and you let it thaw for about 45 minutes to an hour. After the asparagus is all trimmed to exactly the same length, we have to blanch it, which is a fancy word for simply dropping it into some boiling water and leaving it alone for a minute. Exactly a minute. No longer. After which, we immediately plunge it directly into some cold water. To stop that cooking immediately, you can do this part ahead of time and then just refrigerate them. Now we'll need a simple sauce made of about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, about the same amount of sour cream. Get in there. And for me, because I like it, I throw in a little horseradish. Maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. Optional. A sprinkling of cayenne. And a fresh grind of the black. Mix it all together. Always taste. Yum. Chef John uses a Silpat. I'm too cheap to buy one, so I use parchment paper. You want to make your pastry about an inch or so bigger all the way around than however big your asparagus is. The oven's ready. And then you gently roll it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It will work out later. Do this all the way around. And then we do what's called docking, which is nothing more or less than punching a whole bunch of holes in the bottom of it. Thusly. And now we lift it onto a baking sheet. Stick it in a 400-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. After which, it looks like this. It's not fully cooked yet. We're not done with it yet. But now the reason for all of these holes, we come back with the back end of the fork and we squish down all of that puff that it just did. Making the inside bottom flat. And leaving a nice outer rim around it now, which will puff up a little bit further even. Now we let this cool. Now when our little raft has cooled down, spoon in just a little bit of this sauce. Cover the whole bottom of it, lightly but evenly. Just like that. And now lay in the asparagus. Which of course all fits perfectly because that's how you planned it. If it doesn't fit perfectly, just say that that's how you planned it. And now brush a little melted butter over it. And if you have a little left over, brush it on the crust. Not that it needs it, but it's not going to hurt anything. And put it back in the oven. But wait, I almost forgot. Sprinkle it lightly with a little Parmigiano. Reggiana if you have it. Now in the oven for another 10 to 12 minutes. Spinach. Celery. Carrots. Cucumbers. Give that all a little bit of a mix around. Saving the tomatoes so we don't mush them all up. Quiet. You too. A little salt, pepper to taste. Sprinkling of basil. And thyme. A smidge of granulated garlic. Mix that all in. Now the tomatoes. Some EVOO. A teaspoon or so will do. And a little white wine vinegar. Maybe another teaspoon. Mix it all together. And that's it. It's ready to serve. Now for an appetizer or a snack, or just for fun, you can stop right here. But we can kick it up a notch. Bring some water to a boil, a little salt, a touch of white vinegar. Now make a little vortex in it, kind of like a miniature portal. And into that, drop an egg. Resist the temptation to mess with it. Even when resistance is futile. Now leave it alone for 3 or 4 minutes. Turn the heat off. And just because I wanted it, I did a second one. Sprinkle a little more of the Parmigiano over the top. And I like to add just a little dollop of the leftover sauce. Some bacon on the side. The spinach salad with more bacon and blue cheese crumbled over the top of it. And this is some serious eating. Let the eggs bleed out a little. Dig into this. Oh, this is seriously sinful. I love it. Yum. Do give it a try. And do excuse me while I commit piggery.